Write down one specific active workplace stressor you are facing today. It could be a toxic manager, an impossible project, or the fear of layoffs. Without a structured way to process that specific stressor, your mind defaults to a state of constant high alert. Your alarm goes off and the barrage begins. Slack messages, unread emails, and shifting deadlines flood your screen. We are living in an era of maximum convenience, yet we are drowning in the noise of a culture that never stops asking for more. Let's stop the cycle right here. Today, we are building a 3-step psychological operating system to navigate these pressures before they become overwhelming. We will build this system using 2 ancient frameworks. On the left, we have Stoicism, the Roman discipline for immediate mental toughness. On the right, Vedanta, the ancient Indian wisdom for internal stability. Grab a piece of paper right now. Write down one specific active workplace stressor you are facing today. It could be a toxic manager, an impossible project, or the fear of layoffs. Without a structured way to process that specific stressor, your mind defaults to a state of constant high alert. Over time, carrying that unmanaged anxiety is what leads to professional exhaustion. Methodical step 1 begins before you even open your laptop. The morning is your window to set your baseline, long before external office friction can reach you. First, we apply Stoic duty. Look at this bust of Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He woke up every day with an entire empire to run. On your paper, define your specific daily dharma. Write down exactly one core, non-negotiable task you must execute today. Right next to that task, write this Vedantic reminder: I am the sky, not the weather. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna instructs Arjuna to perform his duty, but to remember his true nature as a witness to the action. You now have 2 contrasting forces on your page. The Stoic drive tells you to aggressively attack that single task. The Vedantic mind reminds you that your core identity is not defined by whether that task succeeds or fails. By defining both your mission and your distance from it at dawn, you create a mental buffer. When you receive that first passive-aggressive email, you aren't reacting to it blindly. You are filtering it through the framework you established before the workday even began. Now it's 2 p.m. A crisis hits. A major project is suddenly canceled, or a layoff rumor spreads through the office, directly triggering that stressor you wrote down earlier. This is where we deploy the crisis protocol. On your paper, draw a large circle. Take your specific stressor, the economy, and your boss's mood, and write them outside that boundary. The event is out of your hands. The Stoic rule is only your internal response matters. Write my thoughts, my actions, and my resume inside the circle. This is the crisis table. It charts a major professional fear, losing your job, against both philosophical responses. Let's map how this works in practice. The Stoic response focuses on noble action. You accept the external event. You refuse to let it compromise your character and immediately update your resume. The Vedantic response looks at identity. You recognize that the job title was just a temporary role you were playing. Your true self remains untouched by the firing, allowing you to act logically without tying your human worth to a corporate entity. By forcing your brain to process the crisis through this table, you strip away the frantic emotion. The situation remains difficult, but it becomes a manageable, solvable puzzle. Finally, we reach the end of the workday. This is where most professionals make a critical error, bringing their Stoic endurance home. Treating every evening email or notification like a battle to be won requires immense mental energy. Trying to maintain that level of ego-driven control 24 hours a day is a fast track to exhaustion. Here is where you deploy Nishkama Karma. This ancient law of action demands that you execute your duties aggressively during the day, but detach entirely from the final results the moment the work is done. When you log off, mentally take off the uniform of your career. Internalize that the past 8 hours were a temporary game you agreed to play for a set period of time. Consistently shifting from Stoic effort to Vedantic stillness prevents the accumulation of workday stress. It breaks the cycle of constant performance, allowing your nervous system the recovery time it needs to avoid long-term burnout. Let's review your system. You have a morning baseline to anchor your day. a crisis protocol to handle sudden spikes in stress, and an evening detachment routine to protect your personal time. The notes on your paper now function as a manual for your specific workplace stressors. You've moved from reacting to these problems to processing them through a logical filter. You possess the Stoic armor required to navigate the friction of the corporate world, paired with the Vedantic wisdom to remain at peace within it. Now, I want to hear from you. Head down to the comments and tell me, which tool from this system do you need most right now? Is it the Stoic discipline for immediate crisis, or the Vedantic practice of detachment? Reading about ancient philosophy is just the first step. Applying it daily builds real resilience. Hit the subscribe button for more actionable frameworks to navigate modern life. Keep questioning, keep reflecting, and I'll see you in the next one.